now let's talk digital marketing or data-driven marketing, which we know is at the core of even in markets like that now. You place order online and then it's being delivered to you at home. Adetomiwa Adekoya is a digital product marketing expert and communication strategist and joins us for this. Hi, Adetomiwa, welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Same here. So we talk about data-driven marketing, but I think at the root of it is um, the availability of data in a country like Nigeria. We know in the Western world, the US, the UK, you just go online and you get data for whatever you want. But in our part of the world, it doesn't come that easy. So I guess we should first talk about how to solve that problem, data availability first.
Thank you very much. I think it's a misconception that data is actually not available, especially in a part of the world like Nigeria. I would actually say it's more like an education thing and not really like the inavailability of data. Just like you said, in the US and in the UK, we all have access to the same kind of data that they have. So I think the shortcoming here is access to education, about being able to access data. And so being data driven as a Nigerian or as a marketer in Nigeria is actually being able to always refer to facts and numbers to actually make decisions. And so I would say, although there's this another misconception that you need a large budget to be able to access data, there is data in everywhere and everything that you do. Even this TV station, and what I'm saying is actually data that would definitely be useful to someone else. Social media, which is actually a big driver or gives people access to customers and users or target audience. They have in-app analytics on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, whatever social media platform you are actually using to actually get to your audience. There is data everywhere. So I would actually say it's a case of the misconception rather than inaccessibility to data.
So I wonder who would do that education. I mean, there's data everywhere, but really, if people cannot access it, then it's as good as not available.
Yeah, actually, you're right. But although what I would actually say is we need to do more data education. Like I've said, I would not say it's an accessibility thing. I think it's more of like an education thing. So let me start with the smallest of for small businesses who would probably claim there's like no access to data for them, or it is actually not affordable. So I believe in starting with where you are. You don't need a large budget, or you don't need large resources to be able to access data. So let's take into consideration a small business owner that actually sells maybe fashion items and has a website that they sell it. You have access to social media. A lot of Nigerians have access. Even my mom has a social media account. You can open a social media account like Instagram and Facebook and sell your items on there. And you can also refer people to the website to actually go and shop. Now on Instagram and Facebook, on LinkedIn, all of these platforms, they have in-app analytics that's going on the dashboard for each of these platforms and being able to access data. So as a business owner, you might say, oh, you don't know the kind of things that your audience actually interact with, or how you can actually speak to them to be able to buy from you. That is where data comes in. Go into your Instagram, for example, look at the kind of posts that your audience actually engage with. You want to understand, is it like static posts like images? Is it video posts that they actually engage with? What kind of posts are they saving? So that is data for you. That is numbers. You can see how many people saw your post. You can see the impressions. You can see how many people shared your post. That is data. You are accessing data. What the other problem is, what do you do with that data that you're accessing? So there's data everywhere. There's numbers everywhere. But actually, you being data driven is not looking at that numbers. The example I gave about the small business owner, if you're running an ad, for example, on Facebook and Instagram, and you're trying to get people to go on your website to actually purchase a product, you need to be able to use tools like Google Analytics. Google Analytics is a free tool for all businesses. You can be able to track what people actually do on your website when they come into your website. Why are they not buying the goods? Is it the price? You have access to this data. So now that you access the data, what do you do with that data? So I would actually say it is not really an accessibility issue. I believe there is data everywhere. From anywhere you want to start, it is more of an education thing. And we have, thank God for platforms like YouTube that actually gives you more insight into how to make use of data to make data-driven decisions. So I would say a lot of businesses just in Nigeria need to learn more about how they can make use of the resources they currently have. Of course, they are very expensive data platforms as well. But as a small business, you need to start from where you are. That's looking at what you currently have, the data you currently have, and being able to make decisions with it.
Yeah, so I mean, you say it's a matter of education because it seems data is everywhere, as you said. And you did mention Google Analytics. I know you said that your mom, for instance, has a social media. I wonder what she does on it. But I mean, I like that you're giving an example, especially of small businesses. So let's say, for instance, we're talking about fashion designer, um, and perhaps it's not looking so good, and the person wants to switch to data-driven marketing. So what can the person do? Where should the person look, to start at
Okay.
least?
Okay, so I would say start from the beginning. As a marketer, what I always do is I think there's also a lot of people doing things because it is working for someone else. If you want to be data driven, data has to be with you every step of the way, starting from even when you decide that, oh, I want to go into a fashion business. What kind of fashion items do you want to sell? Is there a market for it? There's something we call total addressable market. The location you are, if you're probably somebody living in, let me use somewhere very, very local in Ibadan. Let me think about places like Berre. If you're in Berre in Ibadan and you want to sell luxury items, you have to look at the total addressable market. Are people in that location, are they able to purchase or buy items from you? How easy is it for you to actually send items from Berre, Ibadan to people that will probably be able to afford it in Banana Island? So doing like a research at first to actually even understand if there's a market for what you want to sell. And yes, there are free tools for you to even be able to do research. There's Google Forms. Google Forms is like a free Google tool that allows you to actually ask people questions. So you know who your target audience is, what they look like. You can create like a forms where you actually ask questions about what they can afford and where would they actually be willing to actually order the items from. So that is Google Forms, a free tool that enables you to even do research, get feedback from your target audience, get feedback from your existing users, and be able to make decisions from what feedback you've actually gotten. Now you set up your business and now you've set up a website. They're also free tools to actually be able to create a website. There's Shopify. You can actually create or set up a website and without having like a technical knowledge or calling a web designer to set up a website for you. You can also do that on Canva. So now all of these websites. So let's say you also create like a social media account. You create a Facebook account. You create an Instagram account with the plan that you're actually going to create content on those platforms to now be able to send people to that website to actually be able to shop what you're selling. Now, on the website, you want to understand where your traffic is coming from. That is where Google Analytics comes in. If you're data driven, you will be able to look at where people are actually coming in to actually shop or buy things from your website. You'll be able to determine if people came in from Facebook, if they came in from Instagram, or let's say you went to an offline event and you shared flyers and you told people to scan a QR code there, you'll be able to know exactly where the source of your traffic is. Now, when you know, being able to take data-driven decision is to know that, oh, most people that actually shop from me, they come from my TikTok account, or no, they come from my Facebook account. Then you actually know that that particular channel is a very good channel for you to continue to run ads. Or maybe, oh, I tried LinkedIn and people are actually not coming from LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not a good source for my marketing. So you actually need to reduce the amount you're actually spending on that platform to run ads. So what I'm saying, all this thing I've said, there's nothing where I've actually said, oh, you need to pay money to be able to do this. It is more of like a skill gap you need to fill as a marketer. You need to know what is working for you and what is not working for me. Exactly, again, with also like the most important aspect is also like being smart with the goals you're setting for yourself. When you start a business, during your business, you have to make sure your goals are actually specific, they are measurable, they are achievable, they are realistic goals. You cannot be a small business owner. You're trying to become like Amazon in 10 months. It's not possible. You need to work with your resources and see how you can actually utilize that resources to actually achieve your goal. So I believe you can start anywhere. There are enough free tools. And I think AI as well as the internet has made it quite easy for anybody. So if you're saying, oh, I want to set up a website, just go on Google, search free website tools, check it. Google Analytics. Oh, I don't know how to use Google Analytics. Go on YouTube, how to actually use Google Analytics for my business. There is everything and anything you want on all of those platforms that would actually empower you to be able to be a data-driven business owner and be able to achieve the target goals for your business.
Yeah, very interesting, Aditomewa. And um, it does sound easy for people of certain level of exposure. But I mean, when you think of our reality in Nigeria, um, the level of exposure also matters. Perhaps some people would need to employ the expertise of other younger people, you think?
Yeah, that's true. So because I use my mom as an example, so I'm going to go back to my mom again. So my mom has a shop where she sells a lot of retail items, household items that you might need for like your daily use. And recently, what I noticed that because I know she spends quite a number of time when she's bored, she spends time on Facebook, she spends time on TikTok, and very recently, I noticed that she opened a WhatsApp business account. And this is because she noticed that a lot of customers actually call her to ask for goods and ask her to deliver. So she opened a WhatsApp business account. So now I didn't have to tell her this because I remember I recalled her. So why did you open a WhatsApp business account? And she was like, oh, I don't want them to keep disturbing me on my personal line. They can just like, I can create a catalog there and they can just be able to add items they want delivered to them. And it is just easy. And this, my mom is not, I will not say she's like very, very tech savvy. This is someone that is close to her 60s and she's been able to use the resources that she has. I know it will actually get very expensive if you want to employ like a Gen Z or a millennial that could help you sort this out. That is the easy way out. If you can afford it, you can definitely go out to do that. But anything that makes you able to access Facebook, go on Facebook, like a picture, share a post. Because my dad also always sends everything from Facebook to me. Anything that gives you that little technical knowledge to be able to do that, share something from one platform to the other, go on TikTok, watch images. There is nothing you cannot learn. And I believe we should just remove that restriction of thinking, oh, this thing is too techy. Because when people actually hear tech, they think it has to do with coding or doing something that they can actually not do. And that is not the case. There are a lot of simple things. So I think a lot of people should actually become more open minded to learning. If I want to teach my mom now that, oh, I want to create a website for you, that will actually be quite easier for your business. Maybe I would have to upset the website for her. But one thing I will have to do is when she's getting email alerts for somebody that has actually placed an order, she know what she needs to do else. I feel like even if you want to get support from people that are younger or they know this thing, it should be little support, not something that will cost you so much. There are a lot of other things that you can do, and you should just be more open-minded to being able to fill the skill gap that you may have.
I did tell me what about this time yesterday. I was having a conversation that was on the inverse part of this. We're talking about staying safe online. So, and my guest yesterday was saying how you should minimize your post and exposure online. Now, it seems like you are on the other side. How do we find a balance, staying safe and still being able to, sell as much as you want or tell people about what you have as much as you can?
Thank you very much for that question. There is definitely a need to stay safe online, especially with AI. I think AI is a good thing. I also think it has its own sides. It has. I definitely would always be someone that's always pushing for getting stuff because the world is always moving, and especially as someone in marketing, you need to also be able to find the good aspect of trends and how we can help things better. So now staying safe online, I don't think there's any problem with being online. There's no problem with having a social media account. There's no problem with dropping comments, engaging people. Now the part where you need to be careful is data protection, especially even as a business. I mean, there are a lot of people, even in Nigeria, asking questions about, oh, why do I need to drop my phone number for this? Why am I seeing this particular ad? People ask these platforms that we're using for ads. So actually ask them, why I don't want to see this content again. There are a lot of things that is where regulation comes in. There are a lot of things that needs to be regulated, if not by the government, even by you. There are people that they are on social media for different things. For somebody like my mom, she's on TikTok for entertainment or to drop comments on my pictures. There are other people that are on TikTok that is their source of living and they're looking for people to scam. People have different goals and identifying that will definitely be helpful. For example, if someone is sending you a link, there are links everywhere to click something to go somewhere. You don't know this person. You don't know what the link is about. There is no need to actually like click on that link. And when you hear things that are too good to be true, just don't even bother. Scams, the way it works is when there's a sense of urgency introduced or when things become too good to be true, you need to actually stay away from those things. When you're online, you already know your community, you know people you can trust. Even people you can trust, sometimes you've seen cases of people actually hacking accounts and telling people to click links or send them money. You need to always be careful. Even in our daily lives, you're careful. just the same level of care you put into interaction in your daily life is the same level of interaction you need to put on social media or when you're online. Someone you don't know should not actually tell you, oh, click this link for me or do this thing for me. You need to always ask yourself questions when you actually come across these kind of things. You want to ask, is there a sense of urgency? Because these are things that help, especially when it comes to scams or like links that you should not be clicking. If there's a sense of urgency added, you need to ask yourself twice that, do I really need to do this thing? If it's somebody that you don't know, if it's somebody that you don't trust, and even if somebody that you know, you need to probably reach out to them to actually ask, did they send you a link? So I believe just the same level of care that we actually give ourselves in real life is the same level of care you should also put into interacting with posts, interacting with things that you actually see online.
All right, Adetomiwa, thank you for being very practical there. I really appreciate that. Adetomiwa Adekoya is a digital product marketing expert. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, now let's take a break. When we come back, we'll head to the markets with Aniti Edet. Please stay with us.